one of the things about that like 9/11 audio that's like so sad to me, in my opinion, is that they played on like yeah, I mean they like hyped up and the audio like really went in deep into like like the naivety and the innocence of being all like of this little girl like having no idea, you know, um, you know, and I think generally like when you play into sort of like the collateral damage of stuff like that, right? Like it's obviously like super sad. Um, and let's see. But
In
I
my
was a bit confused. I was a bit confused by it, and not to other people it must have resonated well. But I was a bit confused because oh my god, look at all those arrows. So as the audio progresses, the girl ends up getting more and more sad that her dad is dead and can't like be there for her graduation or something, like in high school or whatever. And I'm like, that's weird. Like you would think like maybe you would at years you wouldn't get more sad. You would just be like, this sucks and it's sad, but it would. But then we're in kind of an age now on the internet where it's like we can't really make general comments about like grieving like that. But it's just something that always I started to like. I was like, really? Like that kind of took me out of it. Like I was like, why is she getting more sad?
I I think stuff like that. Here's the deal. I think stuff like that is absolute dog shit in terms of audios because it's obviously trying to
Be a tearjerker.
be a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Like it's like listening to "In the Arms of an Angel, Fly Away with Me." Those freaking commercials about the animal shelters.
Yo, yeah.
That was. If anyone wants to say that's a late '90s, 2000s kid experience. That and J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now. Everyone of our generation knows that. They
Yeah.
know those two things. That's tied together. But no, but like all these things like that are tear jerkers, and it does the opposite for me because it's like, what do you think I can do? I'm a child. I can't give you the donation for this animal shelter. I can't bring your dad. Like, what do you? Because then, and oh my god, it's such a controversial. It shouldn't be, but it's such a controversial thing. Is when I talk about 9/11, I talk about because people like to talk about the people in the towers and stuff like that, and I'm like, do you realize that 9/11 brought such visceral racism? Like literally,
Yeah.
we had people going into the army to kill foreign brown people. Like there was such a high Islamophobia, and it didn't just it extended to all brown people. You didn't even have to be Arab. And so when you talk about that, people are like, oh well, but the towers, the planes, and I'm like, yeah, but there's another side to that no one else talks about. And so I'm like, yeah, I feel sorry about the people in the tower, but I also feel sorry about the unspoken victims that America turned on, who were not involved, who did nothing. I feel sorry for the firefighters who got lung cancer and weren't taken care of because health insurance sucks in America.
Yeah.
Those are who I and you talk to anyone who's super on about 9/11, they think you're a monster. And it's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's weird. A lot of that discourse is, believe it or not, still very
Level 25.
right wing. Hey, you're level 25.
Sorry, I know we're on a really serious tangent, but I got excited.
It's very intriguing that a lot of discourse around 9/11 is still predominantly right wing, and I guess that comes from being online a lot and seeing a lot of leftist video essays and
Yeah.
debate bros and stuff. Because at the end of the day, like a lot of 9/11 discourse is still very much right wing, but to like a very much like this is our turf kind of degree,
Yeah.
like where
Plenty of rounds with this.
it's very intriguing because like a lot of the normality of a lot of the 9/11 discourse is predominantly right wing, and it's specifically and it's weird, you know, you talk about the normality because like generally like the bar is like different, right? Like when you talk online, like the bar is generally left, but then when you like talk, you know, kind of like in person or maybe even on certain spheres of even the more progressive parts of TikTok, you know. The bar is generally like, you know, like the sort of normality and the Overton window of it all is generally a bit more right. Because, oh boy, it's really weird because it's really weird the things that will make discourse shift from right to left a lot. Because I guess recently there was this TikToker named History Wizard. And he made like a video about how he's in an open relationship, I think, and people started to really like dig into him for that and make fun of him for that because he said it as a comeback, and people ended up basically saying like, you know, oh, being a cuck is not the own you think it is, being a cuck isn't the comeback you think it is, and I was for a while, like for the first two videos, I was like, oh, this is funny. Sure, I guess, you know, the guy was being a little too, like, I don't know, like ostentatious or, you know, full of himself or something. But then it's like, but then later on the video started to get really, really, like, right-wing. And I'm like, oh, never mind, this is bad. Like they would just get really conservative and reactionary about, you know, his beliefs and his lifestyles. Like, I guess like recently now he was saying that like if you're like an Orthodox Christian or if you have Orthodox Christian memorabilia or something, it's akin to, if not outright, a dog whistle. And a bunch of Orthodox Christians or people who would identify as such are sort of stapling? What, stitching? They're stitching it and totally like, you know, being like, bro, come on, like this is like religiously intolerant. But then it's funny because then like you take that far enough, and then what do you get? Is a bunch of people who are now starting to go like, this is a Christian nation, and these liberals are attacking us. You know, these liberals are persecuting us. You know. So yeah, there's a very fine line between religious tolerance and specifically religious statute tolerance and religious persecution complex. And the fine line is like beaten up all the time and redrawn like it's a gerrymandering day in the Hall of Commons. Oh no! Have you disconnected?
I'm here.
There you are.
Oh, I didn't want to
But you know,
interrupt you.
on lighter conversations about Bloons Tower Defense, let's see. We've been getting into. Oh, you made your bananas green. We've been getting into. So there are these apps called Picture This apps, and the Picture This apps have different versions. One is for plants, one is for insects, and now one is for rocks. Although you have to be careful because it's not called Picture This Rocks in the Google Play Store. It's called something else, but it's still very much the same interface and like Einstellung and everything. So what happens is the other day we went down to the local river, and we were mainly taking pictures of plants, and you really love taking pictures of bugs. And then I took a picture.
Identifier. I have a picture of this insect.
Yeah, exactly. I do too, but I just don't use it as much because I'm more interested in the plants.
You gotta get interested in the bugs.
Because I'm a rancher, you know.
Well, the bugs help you identify with the plants, because what the bugs are, you know, eating around there help you. It's in their diet.
I guess so. So, but there's a rock one, and it's kind of it's more recent and new on the Play Store. And what happens is I was going around a local river, and there's like a bunch of rocks and almost like this like rock quarry of different quartzes and like metamorphic rocks. And I took a picture of one of them, and it said that it thought one